So most companies go bankrupt in the first like 1 to 3 years or whatever, like some huge percentage. And the point of this video is to help you avoid that fate and avoid bankrupting your company, basically. And I have been running a software company over the last 3 years. I have learned a lot, and I almost bankrupted this company twice in the first year. And I learned a lot from those mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes, and I learned a lot, especially from those ones, which led me to some pretty dire situations as far as the company goes. Now, basically, I'd say the biggest lesson from it was focusing on the right things. Focusing on the wrong things, you will lose time and money. And if you solve problems that do not urgently need to be solved, your business will not grow. The problem might be solved, but if that problem does not unlock the next level of business growth, right? So let's say you need more leads and you craft a new logo and you spend money on the logo. You have solved the logo problem, but that won't unlock your business. And what tends to happen is in a business, you're either growing or dying. Very rarely do you just kind of like stay, flatline. And so by solving the wrong problems, you are directing resources to the wrong areas, and the business will continue to falter because you are not unlocking the next level and you're not working on the right problem. And oftentimes, one of the reasons we don't work on the right problems is A, because we don't know about it, but B, more common than that is it's an uncomfortable problem to solve. It's uncomfortable to us because it's heavily unknown, it's uncharted territory. There's all kinds of things that are like wild cards, and we don't really know how to do this. And so facing it is really uncomfortable because we suck at that thing. And if we suck at a problem, we don't, as humans, we tend to run away from it because we like to do what we're good at and what we're comfortable with, because that area of like competency and expertise makes us feel good. But oftentimes we have to operate outside of that. And that was a very, very massive kind of mistake of mine. The other thing is, at least in the development and I guess B2B services world, like you're very likely to observe periods of feast and famine. And so if you start with a period of feast, do not get used to it. Do not get too comfortable, because that run a business for over a year first before you kind of like splurge or anything or go to conferences, whatever. I started traveling to conferences way too early on because we had a little period of feast at the start, and I thought that would carry on, and it did not. And so, I was spending money on traveling to conferences thinking that it would continue to help me get more leads and stuff. The issue is that I didn't know how to get leads from events, and it's going to take a while to get good at things. Your period of learning is large, and so you have to you have to brace for impact, basically. When you have a very good month or very good whatever, I think it's better to play on the more conservative side, especially when you're starting out, because otherwise you may very well spend all the money that you're later going to need. Anyway, it's, I think, really important to have those things in mind. And I would say those lessons, I mean, it's very short, but working on the right things will almost certainly save you from bankruptcy. And that sounds extraordinarily simple, but it's not sometimes as easy to apply. Simple does not mean easy. People conflate those two. But it is extraordinarily valuable to be able to identify the right problem to work on quickly. One of the best ways to do that is through data. So, find a few data points about your business in a couple different key business areas. So you have a few different key business areas. You have like client results, client acquisition, and team. Like those are the basic three ones I generally would start with. But then beyond that, you can get more granular, right? You can go into like marketing numbers and then sales numbers, whatever. But at the start, you just want to get an idea of like how many leads you have, how many of those do you convert, how many of those do you retain. And within those three numbers, like you can very quickly identify which problem you have. Some people have a lot of leads, great sales, awful retention, and that's where they lose all their money. Some people have the opposite. They retain a lot, they sell a lot, but they don't have enough leads. And so typically your problem is somewhere there when you're at the start. And then like you get more granular as you go. So, you know, the marketing thing is like, okay, we have a lot of website visitors, but nobody schedules a call. So the website's the problem. Whereas somebody else has great conversion rate on the website, but not enough website visitors. So, you know, like in the marketing, you can get more granular, you can break it down, whatever. But generally, you want to identify like what's the first major key area. And you essentially just rotate through the constraints. But I just spent a lot of time working on what wasn't the constraint. That was my biggest lesson. And it was, you know, I've tried to beat it into myself, and I wish I could hammer that through my skull 2 years ago. I really do. But yeah, hopefully that's a useful lesson. Work on the right fucking things. Working on the wrong things will cost you, you know, more money and time than you can imagine. You know, it sucks to know that you've lost that time and money because you worked on the wrong things, but it is what it is. And well, I have learned that lesson the hard way, and hopefully if you watch this video, you can skip out on you know, the whole painful time loss and money loss, and just get straight to doing the right things. And I very much hope that is the case for you.